Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan with the Chart Guys, trader and technical analyst. It was a slow start to the week with everybody coming back from the holidays, but there was still some opportunity out there, some significant volatility in cannabis stocks. We also have names like NIO trying to act as laggards of the laggards. Let's check in on the markets. So the broader market bulls still have their complete control. We had the sucker punch Wednesday. That was hourly oversold conditions. That marks the daily higher low. And as we know, when that's the case, when the back burner trades mark the longer term higher lows, it's complete bull control and it's the ideal scenario. So we're back up at all-time highs as far as adjusted SPY and QQQ. The low of Wednesday is now the most important support level, and the bulls just keep grinding higher. And NASDAQ is the exact same thing. Low of Wednesday, hourly oversold, back burner marks the low into continuation. Zero red flags whatsoever at this point. And if you are wanting to be protective of stops and wanting to, or a profit and wanting to move up stop losses, that is now the level to be using as that's our new benchmark. Semiconductors back to all-time highs as well. Same thing. Big dump Wednesday. That marks the higher low into continuation. NVDA is still sitting just under key $500 resistance. This is a possible cup and handle. It becomes a little bit less likely because of that drop on Wednesday. But in terms of the retracement size, it is still a possibility on the table. That low of Wednesday is a must-hold level. But again, anything that is this close to all-time highs warrants extra attention for the potential reward if we do get some breakout follow-through. So watching key resistance 500 and then the all-time high 505.57 with lots of price action in that range. ARM new all-time high today, just grinding higher, getting a little bit like a rising wedge, but anything above 68 keeps the higher lows going. We've got 74 psychological now, the new all-time high resistance, and just marching up with the daily uptrend and with daily EMA 12 support. So semiconductors still keeping their full control as well. Tesla with a daily inside bar today. Bulls have to get over 260 to confirm the daily uptrend. If we get that, another thing I'm watching is we got to see Tesla divided by QQQ shift here. And it's just sideways, means doing the same thing as QQQ. Need to see it get to the strongest it's been compared to the NASDAQ in months by getting over 64 here. So something to be keeping an eye on as well. One of the things that's been going on in the NASDAQ recently is intra-sector rotation, where you have names like Apple, which have led the way up, now leading the way down. Amazon trading sideways, doing nothing. But while that's going on, you got names like Google breaking out and breaking resistance. So Google has been going up with a daily stair step 7 days in a row. Meta has a daily stair step 7 days in a row. And so, again, we often get Google and Meta on one side and Apple and Amazon on the other side. I've talked about this in the past. And we're now seeing one of these pairings pull back and the other one going up, which is, again, exactly what bulls want to be seeing. Just a note, we've got a video that we did, a webinar on last Thursday. If you missed it, it is on our YouTube channel, and it's Lamont and I talking about volume profile. We've also got a sale running for the swing report, half off for a month to check that out, and we talk about the swing report in that webinar. Also put out a video over the weekend talking about the balancing pattern and a quick video there. That's something to check out as well. Check out the links in the comments of this video to get to that webinar from last week. XLV testing the recent highs, has not broken yet. 135.90 resistance still remains. XLF also testing the high right there. I was keeping an eye out today for the possibility that XLF would be a 4-hour head and shoulders, but I needed a red day today and the bears were nowhere to be found. So testing the highs up at 37.58. And again, for most individual names or individual sectors, the low of Wednesday is now our most important daily support level in the short term. IWM, fresh highs, again, part of that laggard action. And in the laggard grouping, we've got ARKK, fresh highs as well. XBI, the biotech sector, fresh highs. TAN has been lagging behind, solar, but it got new highs as well. And also jets, the airliners, pulling back a bit, not much going on there. So again, just looking around at the market and saying, is there any sign of weekly consolidation in the S&P 500? Because we know that's inevitable eventually after a weekly stair step of 2 months. But after today, zero sign of it. NIO, daily uptrend confirmed and getting follow through. And if we look at NIO, again, it's one of these names that's trying to put in a long-term bottom. We got a double bottom at $7. Monthly bounce is now underway. And so again, there are places that bulls are still looking, even though things are really extended in some places. Something like NIO is certainly not the case. And one thing that stood out for NIO was volume in the first 5 minutes. And that helps us believe that the move is real. In the first 5 minutes, we were already up 5% plus, and I compared it to the first 5 minutes on Friday, the first 5 minutes on Thursday, and we're hundreds of percent more volume. That tells you this volume is for real. And so NIO is now in gap fill after 922, little resistance here. Actually, not yet. We got to break 960, and then we're in a gap fill looking up to 1022. So again, just a longer term bottom trying to be set. That said, we can trade on the monthly here for a while, where anything under 1618 is just a monthly lower high. But we can say NIO is positioned very well if the Chinese names can put in some kind of bottom. I did stop out of a K-Web swing attempt. I was looking for K-Web to try and shape up the weekly inverse head and shoulders. Stopped out last week. And we failed to set that weekly higher low and head up towards resistance. So Chinese names still weak overall, but K-Web certainly much stronger than names like BABA or FXI. But again, a name like NIO positioned very well if the Chinese market can put in a bottom, but that's a big if at this point. Cannabis names. So MSOS, we've been watching the 2-week equilibrium. Low, high, higher, low. We set the lower high at 769, and this is the bulls trying to set a quick higher low. If we break 769, that's a great sign. We had a big green day today, high volume, some rumors about the potential of rescheduling talk going on in Washington, D.C., but in the end, we need the headline. And just be aware that you should have a game plan. If you're at your computer and the headline that the DEA is rescheduling cannabis comes across your screen, that's a market buy headline. You should have a game plan. My game plan is written out on a piece of paper right in front of me, so I don't have to panic. And what am I doing? I look at my paper. I buy this. I buy that. I buy that. Add on first hourly consolidation. My game plan is laid out. There's no thinking that has to be done. I look at my paper and I do it exactly what it says. So whether or not that happens, we'll see. But again, it's free money. If you're at the computer and that headline comes out, it's free money if you buy. So have a game plan for that. In the short term, 769 is key resistance. Another example of a bear flag confirming with zero follow through, marking a reversal. And again, just looking at names, also potential tax loss harvesting, marking some bottoms long term. And Lori's going to make a video on this subject, but you look at a name like TLRY, bottoming out and finding a longer term bottom and hitting a couple month highs. And SNDL, shout out to Red Devil pointing this one out. If you break 161, we're very quickly at multiple month highs. And again, it's just these long term, very bearish charts that are trying to build a base of support. We saw Coin do this and flip, XPEV. Over the last 6 months, there's been many names that had this bearish pullback, had the base of support, and then broke bull very quickly. And watching to see if cannabis can do the same. Again, headline would be the spark that is needed, but potentially tax loss harvesting being a bit of something to alleviate short-term bearish pressure once that tax loss harvesting is done. Crypto stocks still great volatility in both directions. MARA daily stair step continues. Just a nice 15-minute equilibrium. Bull break into the end of the day. And watching Coin and MARA. So again, just every day I know that those names will have significant volatility. And even on the very slow day after Christmas, we've got the moves in both directions. High of the day to the low of the day, 5% drop into 5% bounce, into a 3% drop, 3.7% bounce, 3.4% drop, 4.7. Again, there's just beautiful opportunity in both directions. I know I don't need to look for things to day trade. I'm going to day trade MARA and riot as long as this volatility remains. The dollar is still weak down at the lows. Still watching our longer term support level down at 99.57. But the metals trying to grind back to where we came from that blow off top. So gold at the high of its bounce at the moment. Need to maintain the daily uptrend. Silver a little bit weaker today, but same thing. Got to keep the higher lows and higher highs going. Weekly lower high is the most likely scenario. Just do not want to see a weekly downtrend confirmed because that would shift things significantly. Miners, daily inside bar, I think. Nope, not officially, but pretty uneventful day for the miners. They did hit fresh highs, so that's a good sign. Keep an eye on copper. Look at copper's 3-month time frame. This pattern has been tightening up for 3 years. It's just a beautiful equilibrium. That's going to break eventually. Oil, daily bear flag, just like MSOS, daily bear flag, no correlation, but just the same pattern. Daily bear flag confirms with no follow through. Now we have a daily uptrend confirmed. Zoom out to the weekly. Bulls are hoping for a weekly inverse head and shoulders to shape up. If we confirm the weekly inverse head and shoulders or a weekly trend change, we zoom out and that's a monthly higher low and a long-term tightening range shaping up. So bulls have the daily check mark. Now they need the weekly, but keeping an eye out on the weekly downtrend as we are still clearly in that weekly downtrend right now. So overall, bulls in complete control. Watching the laggards of the laggards. And again, just watch those daily higher lows. All right. Hope you had a great holiday break. Still expecting the week to be slow overall. We got a holiday New Year's off next Monday as well. But again, still some opportunity in these more volatile names. And just observing the market as a whole. Because the bulls keep checking off every single thing that they want to see. Intra-sector rotation, inter-sector rotation, back burners marking higher lows on the longer term time frames. One day at a time, do good things.